Hello. I didn't realize my wife was starting to film because she doesn't say anything to me. Welcome to the Insecure Chef again. It's been a while, a lot of craziness in the world and eating up a lot of time. So anyway, today we're going to be making spicy Jamaican meat pies. It's an interesting recipe and it is delicious. You may notice today I don't have my Insecure Chef apron on. I have the apron my 6-year-old grandson Leo gave me, and hopefully he'll get to see the video and I think it'll make him happy. Alright, with that said, let's get started. Right here you see on the cutting board is a bunch of scallions. Alright, the amount of scallions is really your call, but keep in mind that scallions is one of the major flavors of Jamaican meat pies. So you don't want to skip on that too much. And if you don't like scallions, you're probably not going to like Jamaican meat pies. But anyway, we're going to get started here. So I'm just going to cut off the ends. Alright, get those out of the way. And then I'm just going to basically just do a rough chop on this, because this is going to get into the food processor eventually. Alright, just watch your fingers. I'm not using a very good technique here. Alright, I mean that's just general. It may look a lot, and it is. These are made specially for myself. My wife does not eat the heat that these will produce, so I've got her permission to enjoy myself. Okay. What we're going to do now is we're going to round up the ground beef, and then we'll get started. All right, we'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay, so we're back, and as you see, we cut up all the scallions, and now we're going to take these over to the food processor. All right, and this has always been a task, so I'm just going to use my hands. What the heck? They're clean, and as I said, there's an extremely high probability that I'll be the one that'll eat them and no one else. So, try to get them in there. Nice. Alrighty. I think I might have lost one.
Yeah.
There it is.
There's one on the floor.
Okay. Alright, we're gonna grind this up first. You'll have to bear with me because putting these things on drives me up a wall. You gotta be an engineer. Figure out how it goes. I said, you think I'm kidding you? I know this goes here. Aha, got it. And then I'm not sure if I have to use this or not. Anyway, we're going to blend it up for maybe about 6-7 seconds. Crunch it up. Here we go. Okay, so that's sufficient. Do that. Alright, the next thing we're going to do now is create basically the Jamaican filler paste. So we're going to be starting that right now. I'm going to start with, well, hang on a second. It's a good idea if I can give you the measurements. But as always, the recipe will be following the video. But I'll try to read them off for you as we work our way down. Alright, we're going to start with a tablespoon of any kind of Jamaican seasoning. Store-bought is fine. If you know your own or you want to create something, take a look and see what the general ingredients are, and you can create them if you want. So that's going in. Alright, the next thing I'm putting in here is a garlic powder. That's 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. And that's going in. The next thing going in is a teaspoon of onion powder. Next is a teaspoon of allspice, which is also the same as ground pimento powder, but you can find allspice on the spice racks in any supermarket. That's going in. All right. Now I'm going to use 1 tablespoon of bouillon. I couldn't find it. It was in front of me. All right, I'm sorry. They usually call for MSG. I haven't used MSG 40 years. So I'm just going to put a little salt. I'm going to use a teaspoon of salt. All right, teaspoon of salt goes in, and then finally I took a package, 2 packages actually, of powdered bouillon. You've seen them, HerbOx makes them, whatever. This is a beef bouillon, and there are 2 packets in there, and that's going to enhance the overall flavor eventually of the patty. So that's going in. Okay, so all the ingredients are in now, and the next thing we just need to do is to blend them all up. So let's make sure I haven't left out anything, and we'll do another blend job here. So you'll have to bear with me as I fight with this yet again. Wow, look at that. All right, so we're going to blend that up now. Okay, let's take a look-see in there, and I'll take a look in there with you. Maybe you can take a look. You'll see that everything's ground up. That's the basically the paste that'll be utilized, and it smells good. Okay. Now, if the scallions are still too big for you, just blend them longer. This is all a matter of personal taste. The point is to get all the spices together. All right. All right. With that said, I'll move over for purposes of getting set up to begin to cook the meat. Okay, we're going to brown up our meat. I simply took a reasonable sized pot. I'm going to be working with a half a pound of chopped meat. And what I did is I simply put a little water in the bottom so the meat doesn't stick initially. You don't need any oil or anything. The beef will supply that. So I'm just going to squeeze this out. That's packet number 1 of meat. And then I'm not sure if I cut this one yet. Thought I did, and I didn't. So if you'll hold on 1 second, let me get my trusty knife. I'll find it right there. Thank you. Okay. All right. I just was probably interrupted by some trivial matter. And trying to get these things open are always exciting. All right. Sorry for the delay. All right. I'm going to put the other half a pound in. All right. And that's in there. And now we're going to be stirring that up a little bit as it starts to brown. Okay. Let me give that a good stir a little bit, get started here, get the temperature up a bit. Then you know how to brown meat, no doubt about it. Going to get that going. All right, once I get the big chunks down there, got the heat up to medium high. All right, while that's in there, what comes next is obviously I'm going to take the paste we made and I'm going to add it to the beef. Am I in your way, babe?
I can see it.
Can they see?
I can see the paste.
The paste is going in. Try to get all that good stuff. That's the heart of the flavor we'll be working with. I guess that's good enough. I'm just very jealous if I leave anything of goodness behind. Let me just get that in there. Now there's one other ingredient that we're going to add to this. It's very important. It's gelatin, plain unflavored gelatin. I'm going to add that, a packet of that. This is Knox brand, Knox. I'm going to throw that in there. And what that does is it kind of gives the patty flavoring a little bit more body and really kind of brings the juices all together. So I'm going to get going then. Can you see anything?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, good.
Full view.
It smells good, doesn't it? So far, my wife might be able to eat this once it was cooked. Might. It would be very risky, but we'll end that mystery in about 10 seconds, because eventually, 10 seconds, 30 seconds, not sure, we're going to be adding 2, not 1, but 2 rip-roaring hot habanero peppers. All right, so let that do its thing. Okay, just continue on this as that beef cooks down. We're going to add the 2 habanero peppers, and I'm going to grind them up finely and then add them to our paste. Now, in reality, you're probably going to say, well, when you grind up the paste originally, why didn't you put them in then? I thought I did, and I didn't. So I'm just going to cut off the edges, which is where the stem would normally be. I don't have to tell you folks if you've worked with these even just once. Make sure you wash your hands very carefully before you touch any other parts of your body. So you know what? Let me cut this in half again. So it fits in there. I have a little mini processor there, as you can see, and I'm going to use that to grind this down. Alrighty. Let's get those in there. So again, as I said, this should be and can be done directly when you grind the other powder up. So I pay the price for not paying attention. All right, here we go. Now just a little bit more. Fine. As you can tell, it's ground up very nicely. So, boy, my eyes are burning already. Wow. Ooh, boy. So, again, you may want to go with one. It depends on your desire for heat. And by the way, if you don't have access to habaneros, but you do have access to scotch bonnets, equally good. Very, very equally good. Alright, so I'm going to take these peppers now and put them back on my stove where the beef was cooking down, and I'm going to put them in. I'm telling you, I'm getting a little frightened. This looks a lot more than I remember the last time I made it, but as I said, I'm going to be the only one eating this. So if it turns out that it's too hot, my own fault. I've yet to have that happen, however, but that's good enough. All right, I'm going to mix this up again, get this going. All right, I'm not kidding you, folks. The fumes from those ground up peppers. Now you can soften the blow without losing much of the flavor of those peppers by not using the seeds. I did use the seeds. And if you really want them not particularly hot, but you still enjoy the flavor, you can remove the seeds and the white membrane inside the pepper. That will reduce the heat by 75% for sure. However, as you saw, I went with everything. So we'll see eventually how that works out. All right, while that's cooking, we're going to move over to here because we're going to make our bread filler that's going to be added to the mixture. And what you need is, roughly a loaf, thereabouts, of French bread, Italian bread, ciabatta bread, anything that's, sizable. We're going to cut this stuff up because eventually it's going into the food processor. I'm going to cut it down, hopefully the sizes I can get into the processor. I may not use this whole loaf. This is also a personal taste to see how much you want. It's also useful if you should be selling these because this is going to stretch the meat and you make more patties. And it'll taste wonderful. So, let's see where we are here. If you hear that dog barking, that's my little dog outside. It's all right, we're going to stuff him down in here. All right, like that. All right. Try to get in as many as we can. All right, this is going to be good for that. And now we're going to add a couple cups of water to soften them. Let's start with that a little bit. And try to come over here and give this a little bit of a stir. Alrighty. So I'm just going to push these down so they get a little softer. Maybe a little more water is in order. And basically we're going to be making a paste. So, we'll be right back. Okay, so the bread's in there, and again, I'm fight with this, try to remember which way it goes. And you're all going to be making fun of me afterwards. Saying, how come this guy can't remember? All right. This goes on here. Maybe not. Maybe it goes here. There we go. And now we're going to grind this up. Let me take a look, see how it is in there, and whether I want to use any more bread. Not bad. I'd say that's sufficient. You saw how much bread I used on the loaf I used. It's really a matter of taste. You could use the whole loaf. Right now, I'm lazy. So, and also I think I've done it before with a half. When you open it up, if there's a little bit still too much water, you can add another piece of bread if you want, just to soak it up. I'm just going to do that. There's just a little bit extra water down there at the bottom. Let's see if that'll be sufficient to solve that. All right. There we go. Yeah, and if you take a look in there, you can get a feel for the consistency of it. Okay, and if there's any big pieces, you can take them out of there if you think it's a problem. But all right, I think that'll do just fine. Okay, all right, the beef is more than done right now. It's just simmering. What I'm going to do now is add about a capful of browning caramel, or in this case, the brand name around here is Gravy Master. What that'll do is just give the meat a very dark, colorful look, because not only is flavor important, but so is appearance. So I'm just going to mix that up really nice. Also, my fault during the filming, you'll see in the recipe that there is the use of thyme, spiced thyme. It is in here, except that I started entering it before my wife could start filming it. So you can add it with all the other ingredients when you do the first blend of the food processor. Okay, so that's looking really good in there. What we're going to do now is I'm going to come over here and get my bread mixture that we made moments ago. Okay, and now I'm going to add that directly to the meat. So here we go here. And I may not use all of it. Again, I said it comes down to personal taste. So I want to see how this looks when I mix it in. Now what will happen is you'll notice that the bread will get absorbed and it'll eventually disappear into the meat. Alright, so you just keep mixing it up, and if there's any chunks of bread, you can cut them that way. Alright, let's move it around. You'll see how the bread is slowly but surely disappearing into the meat. And again, now at this stage, once the bread is pretty much incorporated into the filling, if you wanted a darker appearance, a little bit more browning caramel or Gravy Master, there's no problem. Again, that doesn't really impart any particular taste, so you're welcome to darken it or whatever. This is good for me. And as you see, essentially the bread has disappeared into the meat. All right. Okay, so this is essentially done. The first phase of the pastry. Obviously, we've got to get to the pastry. So now that this is complete, we're going to be moving over to handle the pastry. What I'm using is pepper Puff Pastry shells. So I just got to let these defrost a little bit, and then we'll get started from there. Be right back. Okay, we're going to start the beginning, or should I say the end, of the process as we fill the puff pastry and make the actual patties. You can see the filling is sitting here. I allowed it to cool because it's not a good idea to try to fill these pastry shells when the mixture is hot. Sometimes it'll just burn right through it. So this now is a little bit warmer than room temperature. Back here, we are now got the puff pastry that has been defrosting per the package instructions. A little flour on the table, and I'm going to try to roll this out a little bit because I'm going to need a little bit more space. So let's see how we do. If the seams that these come with separate, just take a little water on your fingers, squeeze them back together again. Okay? Okay, let's turn it this way a little bit. We're going to try to get it, fairly thin. Again, it really depends on the brand of pastry used. If you're a person who's much comfortable making your own dough, then that's probably the optimum arrangement, because then you can control a lot more of the dough's features than I can. This has worked fine for me, and my dough making is at average at best, so it's simpler with this, especially since I'm not trying to impress anybody other than myself. Okay. Now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be cutting circles out of this, hopefully, and I simply use the circumference of a small saucer. The size, you're asking? It's your call. The smaller the patty, the more you'll have, but you may have to eat 5 or 6 of them. I kind of make them, I like to think that they're pretty much standard size, in the sense that if you go to the store and buy commercial ones, you'll see they usually look about this size. So I'm not going to waste too much more of your time. I'll just try to just get it square as best I can, because pastry tends to want to contract after you've stretched it. So alrighty, let's see if I can cut my first circle. This is going to be very interesting because I wish I had a slightly smaller circle. I'd love to get 4 out of this, but as you can see, that's not going to happen. I'm going to get at best 3. Let me just try just a little bit more, and then we'll get right back. All right, I'm going to cut out the pattern now. In the past, I've used a bottom of a saucer, as I think I mentioned, to get circles. In this case, I think the simpler approach is simply use a pizza cutter, pastry cutter, call it what you want, and cut this piece of dough into quarters. So I'm going to do that right now. Okay, like that. You can see they're separating very nicely. And now I'm going to take a tablespoon and start to scoop in the filler. So I'm going to start with the heaping tablespoon. See how that looks. You don't want to make it too big, because then when you try to make the fold, it's not going to work well. It's going to sneak out the sides or whatever. So let's see. And maybe, no, like I say, I work with a circle, so let's try this. Let's move this over here a little bit. Yeah, all right. I'm just going to try with 1 tablespoon here. If I feel I can get more on the others, I'll make them a little bit more. So I'm just going to fold this over. Well, actually, first thing I'm going to do is I've got a 1 beaten egg here. Just 1 egg beaten, maybe with a little water. And I'm just going to take a small amount of it and just kind of just paste around the edges. This will just help it stick together when I make the fold. And then we'll crimp the final patty with the fork. Okay? So let's see how this works. All right, I'm going to bring this up over here. Bring that to here. Like that. Not too bad, not too bad. All right. Again, I'm going to use my fingers initially to get it down. All right, and then I'm going to take this fork and I'm going to crimp them. Just don't crimp it so far in that you put a hole that exposes the filling, because that's going to defeat the purpose. All right. So I'm just moving around, doing that, and this will be patty number 1. And like I say, I might put a little bit more in next time. And I like to crimp both sides because I'm the kind of guy who panics. I mean, the worst that happens is some of the meat comes out while you're baking. You'll have the unfortunate task of eating that, which will be very unfortunate. Okay, so there it is, and I'm just gonna put it here. And this is a very, very lightly oiled pan. Probably don't have to oil it at all, but it's another paranoia of mine. All right, I'll do one more for you. Okay, let's take that. Now I took a heaping tablespoon last time, and I'm thinking I'm gonna go with a little bit more now. See how that works out. What do you think, Ben?
That's good.
You think that's good? Okay. All righty. Oops. All right. Yeah. Let's see how this goes. All right. A little egg wash there. And you know, you probably don't have to do this. If you're using commercial puff pastry, it's usually got a pretty good stickiness associated with it, but it can hurt. All right. I'm gonna, what am I doing? Yeah. Sometimes I get a little wacky. All right, try to line them up best I can. Get one side down, stretch the other one over there. Get that one down. Alrighty. And now I'm gonna crimp. Now what I'm gonna do when I get these all done, which I wouldn't waste your time with, I'm going to put them all in that aluminum baking sheet you saw, and I'm going to bake them at 345 degrees for anywhere from 30-35 minutes, maybe as much as 40, depends on your stove. Just keep an eye on them once you get past the half-hour mark. See how they're browning up. You could always put egg wash across the top here. That'll help it make a little darker color. So that's all up to you. All right, so here comes number 2. And I'll be continuing this, and then I'm going to be putting them into the oven, and hopefully I'll have finished product that I may or may not be able to show you, but you'll get the idea. So, from the Insecure Chef, thank you very much. This may look a bit more complicated than it is. In reality, it's just a matter of creating the mixture, throwing the puff pastry, and making the shell. Again, if you're a baker, by all means, make your own. That would probably be even better. So, take care, and thanks again for watching. And may I say that the videos may come a little bit slower in the next month or so, because we have started the process of moving out of our home for 35 years into a new house. So I don't have to tell you the timing and chaos of that. So for myself and my lovely wife, Regina.
Have a good day.
And from Leo, one of my grandsons, thanks again, Leo, for the apron. Bye-bye.